my first HR job, I witnessed the digital transformation from employee records that were literally kept in shoeboxes on 5x7 cards. And if you got a raise or a promotion, it was handwritten on there, and then they sent a photocopy down to payroll, who then put it into the system. And sometimes those systems didn't match, and who was right, payroll or your 5x7 card in the shoebox. And I watched this company take and implement their very first HR system. And that was not that long ago. I'm not that old. It was in 1999. So it just one of those transformations, and you think about where we are today, where the newest startup has an HR system, or at least an Excel spreadsheet. It's a totally different world.
Things like employees being able to choose their own benefits using technology platforms and that kind of thing, and to be able to raise their problems. I'm very interested in what we were able to do in terms of, and we saw one of the examples. I'm very interested in what we're going to be able to do in terms of investigation and reporting and securing information and making things anonymous. Really excited about what's going to come from a messenger point of view. People become more messenger driven, and it becomes chat, things become interactive, and processes become more conversational.
In terms of good examples of digital HR transformation, I think they're few and far between at the moment. I think there's a lot of companies kind of on that road moving towards that. But in terms of organisations that have actually already got quite a long way down the road and are actually out openly talking about what they're doing, I think there's not so many. There's the obvious suspects, the big tech companies, in Silicon Valley. Salesforce particularly, I think, are doing a lot of good work in that area. Cisco with their talent cloud, I think they took a very employee-centric approach with that. Instead of just coming up with this technology which is to help support personalised learning and personalised mobility within the organisation, they very much took it on a pilot process. Let's start with a small employee group first. Let's get feedback on what they like, what they don't like about the tool, and then we can iterate and improve as we go. And by doing so and by communicating out to the wider workforce, they almost created a momentum amongst the workforce about what was coming and how this could potentially help their career within Cisco. So I think that's probably the best example I've seen, and there are articles about the Cisco Talent Cloud that people can find online.
We're looking at companies that have successful business models, really. We can't really dissociate the HR from a successful company, so that's a key thing about it. There's so many different flavors of HR operating models, from business partners, centers of expertise, shared service centers. We've gone through many different iterations of those, and some companies I know are on their third or fourth version of the business partner role, for example. They've adapted it, they've adapted some principles to their own business and come up with something that kind of works for them. So there's no sort of template I can provide you with for HR transformation. You've just got to look at your own business needs and interpret it from that perspective.
So the example at IBM with the social pulse tool there is that there was a decision that came out that we would no longer process expense claims on Uber or Lyft. Employees weren't very happy about that. There was a lot of chatter on the social platform. The social analytics team were able to identify that. They identified the negative sentiment. They were able to flag that into our CHRO the same day, and she was able to look at that decision and think, actually, that wasn't a good decision. It wasn't hers, I hasten to add. And she was able to communicate back to employees on that day, actually, we're going to reverse that decision, all in one day.
Nobody's doing it.
Yes.
You didn't capture that, did you?